Gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any materials produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present Girls vs. Ghosts Media's The Dr. Gina Show with Gina Marie. Gina is a psychic medium and an intuitive counselor who has a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's degree in counseling, and a doctorate degree in occupational therapy. The Dr. Gina Show is live on Spreaker every other Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, right here on Paranormal Buzz Radio.
Here's your host, Gina Marie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Gina Show. So today I am in New York. I'm in my apartment in New York, usually from my house in New Jersey, but with everything that's going on, I opted, if to be quarantined, to be here in New York. Usually in New Jersey, my co-host is my cat Shady, because he's my New Jersey cat. But I am in New York, so my co-host tonight is Germany, my cat. There's always a cat, always a cat. So I just want to thanks Shay and thanks Matt always for Paranormal Buzz Radio, which you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for helping me with the show. And as you know, Shay always comes on like 20 minutes in, and she's on chat. So feel free to mention anything in chat, and when we do go live for chat, that's when we will take questions, and Shay will come on and help me read the questions and answer some questions. So I want to send out love tonight for everybody. Definitely going to do a little healing for you guys today for all that we're going through. And I know everybody's scared, and I'm here in New York City, and I get to see a lot of bedlam here in the city, and especially with the New York City school systems closed. That was like a big hit for the city here for sure, for the kids. And I just definitely, any healers out there, just definitely send love for all these kids, because I just remember when I was in school, my play was this time of year, and there was the prom and sports and, just school activities that the social isolation is taking these kids from. And it's, they're missing, some of them might be, no school, but, really what they're doing is they're missing a big part of their life, because school is going to be closed. They're saying at least, for a couple of months, but it possibly could go to the end of the year. And the socialization is really part of school, especially high school. I just remember, I used to look forward to going to school for that aspect of it. So it would be really good to send some love, some healings out for these kids and the parents that, have to work, and all of a sudden they have children home from school. It's really, when you think of it in the long run, a lot of people, myself included, I'm not saying I'm so much above this, but we think of our circumstances, like my circumstances here. What I really feel right now is that, oh, Jesus, I'm missing jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to be able to train jiu-jitsu. And I thought, wow, that's tough for me. That's my little world here. I'm over here missing jiu-jitsu. My life is a little interrupted here. I can't go out to eat or, do things. And really, everyone's situation, there's unfortunately usually someone that's in a worse situation, single parents, just a lot of people that can't get to work. The loss of income is, I'm definitely feeling that as well, but people feel it way worse than me, and some people don't feel it, but it's just a lot going on. And I was actually food shopping tonight, getting some items in, and I was talking to this older man behind me, and he had a couple 6-packs of Italian beer. He liked me right away because I was Italian, so we started bonding and talking. And so we were in line for a while, and we're talking, and he was really smart. I think he might have been a doctor here. I'm on the Upper East Side. It's a really wealthy part of the Sutton Place up here. So he's definitely like a retired something, because he was from Italy, and he talked about his Italian friends that are professors in colleges and doctors. And they're saying, they told him, that they're coming up with a cure for this, and that, it's taken its course and that it will pass. And it, as a humanly, like, I'm probably going to channel something about this later in the show, but as like regular human Gina that was standing in line with this man, it was nice to hear, what doctors, professionals in Italy are saying over there. So anyway, he was talking about, he's obviously retired. He was probably 80 something, and he was getting his beer. And he said to me, some Italian beer too. He said to me, "Are you missing work?" I didn't really get into what I was doing. And I was like, yeah, it's like, that's the hard part, work or whatever we're talking. So I was ready I had my food order, it was like 100 and something. He pulls out his credit card and offers to buy my food for me. And I was like, no, and he didn't push the issue because he was probably like embarrassed, but just like the thought, because, obviously this man isn't missing work. And just like, I just see like that was just something that I seen kindness for. And I started thinking like, he's 80 something probably. He's a senior, obviously doing well, thank God. But in my building here, we have a couple seniors, and like, I definitely knocked on their door and just said, can I go get you something? Because we have to really look out for the people that, there's that, especially here in New York City. So if any of my listeners are in a building with an older person, like, they're scared. Most of them are alone, and they're scared. So it's always nice to just check on them, knock on the door. Are you okay? Can I go get you something? I saw this funny meme. It was, I don't even know how funny this is. I mean, 2 weeks from today, it might not be so funny, but this guy had on like a hazmat outfit, and he's going to the store. Do you want anything? Like, but really, like us, the younger people that do have higher immune systems, like, we really got to watch out for the people that do have the compromised immune system. So, okay, so that is not what we're going to talk about tonight, but I just wanted to address that a little bit. Tonight, we're going to be talking about communication with spirit. And this was a topic that I chose because I definitely hear this a lot from my clients. They always want to know, like, how do you talk to spirit? How do you hear from spirit? Blah, blah, blah. So in the process of how do you talk to spirit, that, whatever, this topic of communication has heightened since I first chose this, which was a couple weeks ago. So I am definitely going to talk about communications with spirit. Obviously, if you never listened to my show before, by the way, welcome to the Dr. Gina Show, but I do a lot of channeling. So the higher energy that I do channel is the council. And the council is, I call them, if you listen to my show, I call them like the CEOs of heaven. They know all your spirit guides. Like, they're in charge of all your spirit guides. They're not in charge of the angels. They're like a different branch per se. But there's, archangels, and then there's the council. And the two archangels that I do talk to are Ariel and Gabriel. I do channel them. But the council who I do channel, they look at spirit guides, and they talk to spirit guides. They have your Akashic records. So when I have a client, lots of times I'm talking to their guides, but their guides are also checking with the council, kind of like the guides are under the council for sure. So it's kind of like a direct channel like that. But when I'm doing this show, I'm not tuning into any of your guides out there. Sorry, guys. It's a direct channel to the council, the higher energy, and they help me with whatever the topic I'm in. So just like a reading, sometimes I'll be channeling and you'll hear, me, Dr. Gina is channeling, or then sometimes I come out of it and I use I do have my doctorate degree in psychology and counseling. So sometimes I come out of that and I'll use my book knowledge. And sometimes you just get me, like we call me, term this Gina, just regular Gina from the block. So I curse a lot, so be ready for that because that's just who regular Gina is. So you kind of get a mixture of all three aspects here during this show. So you really never know what you're getting here. Dr. Gina, psychic medium Gina, or Gina from the block. You're getting everything, okay? So tonight's topic, so the communication like I was talking about, really comes into play because a couple of my friends were talking about different things they're going through as far as relationships. So you also know if you have sessions with me, obviously I guide you. So I have a program, the mind, body, soul, and that's the balance. So it helps guide you. So I work a lot with relationships. And I've been finding, working on this program with my clients, communication is big. So I'm going to probably channel a little bit about communication as well. So I want to first start with communicating with spirit guides, angels, your deceased loved ones, or whoever that is. So again, when I start talking, I usually just start talking, or I don't stop talking because that's me channeling. So it's my voice, but I'm listening to the counsel and we're going on. So I want to talk about, first let me explain to you how I channel briefly before I get into how I'm going to help you guys try to figure this out. So obviously, since I was a child, my earliest memories, everyone has earliest memories. My earliest memories is being surrounded by dead people. Every time it got dark, every time I went to sleep, they were always around me, always walking around, always talking to me. They were there. They were behind my house. They were on the trees. They were looking in the windows. They were in my bedroom. They were sitting on the counters. Dead people everywhere and lots of fairies. So it was like a scary, scary life for me all the way up until my early 20s when I kind of learned how to control it. Not just that, now they don't bother me. I sense them as much because I really don't tune that in as much. Like the spirits could be having a whole party in my bedroom. I could be in a whole haunted house sleeping overnight, and sometimes they wake me up and I just go back to sleep. Nothing bothers me at this point at all. I don't have any fear. There was a few bad spirits I could call that I did come up across a couple times. I did encounter some. Definitely when I was investigating Eloise in Detroit, I got scratched up my back a little bit. Took me a while to get rid of that energy. And when I do bigger shows, I did a gallery for 100 people, and it took me a few weeks to just decompress and get rid of all the energy of the deceased loved ones and souls. So there's that. But for you guys let's start with talking to your dead relatives. Even for me, yes, I do get messages from my grandmother who, and this is a crazy time for me because this is almost 5 years since she would be passed. So I dedicate this show to you, Grandma. She always said I was going to get some kind of show. But anyway, she loved St. Patrick's Day. So special dedication to you, Grandma. And Brian, St. Patrick's Day, the Irish people in my life. So how do I communicate with Brian? And we all know Brian was my best friend who just passed away a couple of years, and my grandma. So those two people were probably the closest to me in my whole life of everyone, and they're passed. My mom died when I was 2 months old, and my whole family pretty much died. But Brian and my grandma are pretty much there all the time. For me, they're there. I ask a question to either one of them, and they show me something. And you all know what, people that listen to me, Dr. Gina, when I ask my grandma, Grandma, I'm nervous about this or whatever it is, I'm having a hard time. These past 5 years has been a roller coaster of hell of my life, which I, definitely talk about. But I'll ask, and there's been times where I was really fucked up. And Grandma used to set her hair in bobby pins every night. She always used to have her hair done. She was always big on looking good. So I would ask her, to give me a sign. And I started finding bobby pins, when she had first died. And I was like, holy shit, this is Grandma's sign, because I asked her. And it makes sense because she would lose these bobby pins all the time. So I was always out buying like bobby pins. Go to the store and get me bobby pins. So that was the thing. So I found out that, hey, this is, every time I talk to her, I ask for help, these bobby pins show up. Like, wow, like this is her sign. And now, like, I could be having a really hard time or something's going wrong, and I'll find a bobby pin like in my shower that I don't have bobby pins, or I'll get on the subway and there'll be a bobby pin on the seat I'm going to sit on. One time I went to meet my father and I was going through some shit, and my dad had a bobby pin on his shirt. So like bobby pins, she'll show me like, I'm here, I heard you, I'm listening to you. So it's kind of that simple. It's kind of just like you find what their sign is. And my spirit guides, like you all know, they're safety pins and paper clips. Safety pins and be like, you're safe. Like sometimes I'm worried, like, am I going to survive this? Oh my God. And they'll give me a safety pin in the weirdest places, like meaning you're safe, don't worry, we got you. And the paper clips are like, you're on the right track, it's coming together. Now I found out what these signs are just by like me asking for a sign, and then every time the same signs would show up. Of course, the universal sign for angels, if we find feathers, we all know, that's the universal sign. That's what it is. That's an angel. That's a feather, which comes from many different reasons and many different ways. And we also know that money is mostly, that could be your family member just throwing you some coins. But money for me, like coins and stuff, is usually as well spirit guides, family. That could be from anyone showing you like money's on the way, or they want to give you something. And it's funny with money because I'm always like, okay, I got the penny, I got the dime. Where's the big stuff? Where's that? But see, they need to generate it to come to us. So like they have to have somebody drop it. They can aport things. And aport means like bring things from a different dimension to us. Like I've definitely had that happen. And I've talked about that before. I won't really get into it, but I've had aport. So that could be like, you want I want a new bed frame, and then all of a sudden my neighbor threw out a bed frame. I wanted a dresser, and then I got a dresser. I had a plant that my grandma died in a plant. So they can aport things, like bring them from somewhere else and bring them to you. So that's a whole different thing. And I definitely talked about this, and you can go to my back episodes, which is on my YouTube, which you can find on my Instagram, and find anything about that. But that's how you can start communicating, basically, with your guides or your loved ones. You just look for that sign. And sometimes I'll specifically ask, too. And I would say, I remember one time was like, plenty of times, but just one example of a crazy thing. I would talk to Brian, and I was like, Brian, blah, 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 blah. And I was talking to Grandma, and I want a crazy sign of a bird. And all these flocks of seagulls were coming over, and two of them, Grandma and Brian, were yelling at me. I was like, oh, my God, how do I know if that was a sign? And then I looked down, and there was a sticker of a seagull on the ground. Like, I've talked about this. Or one time when Brian died, I was like, oh, God, I just need to see a bird. I need to see a bird, and I need to know it's different and something about it. I'm in New York City, and all of a sudden this guy's walking down the street with a cockatiel or a macaw on his back, like right down in some place in New York. So I was like, okay. And then another time I was like talking to Brian, and I walked into a building in New York, apartment building, and there was another white cockatoo like on the desk, and the guy had it. So like you ask for something, you just ask. Like I would ask for a crazy bird sign. Another time I asked for a crazy bird sign, and I was with my brother and my father and my grandmother. Her name was Angelina. So this guy was walking with this beautiful white bird, and I said, oh, can I see the bird? And he stretched out his hand, and he had a tattoo in the middle of his arm that said Angelina. So that was like, this is how the signs, that's how they communicate with us. It's that easy. So you just have to start asking and keeping your eyes open. And there's times that I don't know if my friend Joanne is on here or not on chat, but I remember like it was so crazy. Like another sign, Brian gave me a little army man. And when I was little, I used to have bags and bags of army men. They were my thing, army men, so many army men. And like a couple times I would find like Brian's single little army man he found for me. And even like Joanna, when she was going through things, like obviously her guides would talk to me, and I would find this little army man, and that would be a sign for her. I'd find like little army men, so like they're there. They're always communicating with us and giving us crazy signs. You just have to ask and keep your eye open. So, and so you just be aware of that. And that's kind of how you talk to your loved ones. You want to start out like that, and kind of your spirit guides too. So communication starts out like that. And then you can get more, I guess, experienced or greedy like that with your signs or your communication. And sometimes, like before I go to sleep, now I'll just be talking to my grandma as I go into sleep. And it's a really good time because it's when you start to like cross over. So right before I go to sleep, I'll be talking to my grandma and tell her, and then I always meet her over on the astral plane. And I'll have like full-blown conversations. It'll be her, but I'm meeting her in my spirit form on the other side. So that's a really good way to communicate. That takes a little bit of practice, but you can do it. You just ask them to meet you. You go to sleep. You say, hey, meet me on the astral plane. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to show up and tell you what you have to say. So those are just a couple basic ways. Definitely, once I get into chat, we'll open up questions and we'll look at this a little more. So angels, let me talk about communication with angels. Now, angels are amazing. Angels are there for love and support. And nobody really calls on, not many people, I should say. Like, usually when something happens, people go to, oh, Mom, if you were still here, Mom, and Mom's over there doing what she can. Mind you, there's a hierarchy in heaven of what spirits can do and the power they have. There is, like I said, and I talked to the council, right? However, the hierarchy, if I want someone to help me, I can say to my grandma, like, send me some help, and she's going to do what she can. But if I want to have an angel because I'm feeling sad, and I'll just be like, can you send me love, or can you send love to whoever I want to send love to that feels they need healing? I call them the angels, and they're just waiting. It's almost like, labor ready, where you want someone to help you move, and you pull up to labor ready, and there's like 5 people standing outside so you can get them on the sneak, and you don't have to go through the, company or whatever. It's like angels. They're waiting like labor ready. They're waiting for you to call on them and say, like, hey, you, I got a job for you. And they're like so eager to do it, especially the new angels. They want to get practice. So, depending on what the task is at hand or who the soul is, whatever angel comes to be called upon. But it's that easy. It's just asking. They're waiting. They're like, oh, what do you got for me? Does anyone have? Oh, and then the call goes out, and they get the call, and they're there for you. It's really that easy. It's just like calling them, right? So that's kind of basically the basics of talking to your guides, your loved ones, and your angels. Of course, there's more in-depth ways, and this is just basic outline, Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3 on communication of that. And again, when we get in the chat, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about that type of communication, because it gets really intense. It gets where it's like communication with manifestation. And who are you communicating with when you're like, hey, I want a parking spot? For me, it's like, hey, parking gods, give me this parking spot, especially here in New York City. Like, I want a parking spot, parking gods, and, move some cars for me, get a parking spot. And there are, like, amazing people that can just pop up with that parking spot. And for me, even though I do get a parking spot, which I do in New York, it's like alternate side parking. So there's no way around that. I still have to move the car, which is a pain in the ass. But I usually get the parking spot. But there's no way to change the sign. I mean, maybe there is, but I haven't got to that manifesting yet. So, like, communication with manifesting, that's a whole different ball game. So it's about, like, who do you call on when you want to manifest someone? Well, I remember being a teenager, and I had this credit card that I ran up when I was in college, and it was with Citibank. I don't know, but my grandma felt sorry for me at the time, because I was paying this Citibank, And again, this episode is for you, Grandma, so you remember this. So she used to pay the Citibank for me when I was in college, and she'd pay the monthly payment. It wasn't even that much money when I was in college. It was probably like I had it up to like, I don't know, $7,000 or something. So she started paying it at like $7,000. And every month she'd pay it. And I remember when it was paid off, and she was like, it's paid off. And it was like, oh, my God, she used to call it CT or something. Instead of Citibank, she called it CT. So right now, when I look at her picture, which I'm looking at right now, I say to her, Grandma, man, I remember when you paid CT Bank for me. Well, wasn't that a joke? Because right now I got TD, Bank of America, blah, 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 blah. I go, CT was a joke compared to what I got now, Grandma. I go, Grandma, we got bigger things to pay. And I take all my credit card bills and I put them behind her picture. And I'm like, she used to call me Wimpy. I guess there was some cartoon when she was little. And it used to be like, Wimpy, can I have one hamburger today and I'll pay you for two tomorrow? She's like, she used to say that was me. Can I have this today and I'll pay you for two tomorrow? And of course, Wimpy never paid for the hamburger, she said. So that was me. So now, like, I'm like, all these credit card bills, and, you know, who's going to pay them for me? Is Grandma going to pay them for my manifestation? Or my guide's going to pay them? Because somebody's going to pay them. And the reason that for now they haven't been manifested till now, because, again, go back on some of my episodes, not to get into it, but it was all about that negative weed garden that I had planted in these last 5 years, you know, I've been on the upswing for about a year, but before that, the negativity that I planted within my own subconscious human mind and the patterns that I've built, you know, whether it was hanging with the wrong people or talking badly to myself, like that Dr. Emoto Woodard experiment, and that emotional scale that I talk about all the time, you know, that's how I check my temperature. And I was at the bottom of that emotional scale, like I talk about all the time. I was in shame, fear, and guilt for many reasons in my life. So I created all that negativity, which is these credit card bills, you know, I created them. So how am I going to get the communication to the spirit world, right? To my grandmom, to whoever I need to pay those credit cards? How is that communication going to work? You know, first of all, it's not so easy as just, hey, pay that, like, hey, show me a Bobby pin, because there's no blockages for that, right? But the credit card bills, that's associated with all this negativity that accumulated them, which was my negative life. You know, the people I was hanging out with, the things I did. So I have to pretty much filter it, like taking your blood and putting it through a spinner, and you got to take all that negativity and spin it and move it positive. And that just doesn't happen overnight, for sure. So that takes work. So sometimes you might think, hey, I'm doing all this communication, I'm talking to my angels, I'm talking to my spirit guides, I'm talking to my loved ones, but like I still don't have this job that I really want, or I don't have this house, da-da-da-da-da. What am I doing wrong? Am I not communicating right? Well, it's not just as pure as that communication, because there's energy that's associated with communication. It's almost like when I'm in a psychic channel, how I look at energy when I'm looking at certain situations. And then when I do energy clearings or healings on people, I feel the block, and then I work on it like it's a knot. Because when I was in school for physical therapy, you know, I learned massage. So that's physical, right? But as a healer like I am, when I energetically do some type of massage or I just do a healing, I feel that block. So those credit cards, for an example, that I want paid, and I'm trying to communicate with the spirit world to pay them for me, they're associated with all that negativity block. So it starts with, again, that program that I'm working on, mind, body, soul, right, the balance. In order for me to get that positivity, to get those bills paid, to wipe them out, to get whatever it is I want, I have to clean up all my 3 circles, right? And that shit's not easy, especially being me, regular Gina. Regular Gina is fucked up a lot. So, you know, you have to work through that whole mind stuff. You got to get your mind right, the energy right. And it's a continuous readjustment on that. And yes, I'm a therapist and I have a degree in psychology, but that doesn't help you get your mind right, okay? I have the book knowledge for sure, but this is more energy work, more healing, more self-work, which is a big work in itself. So you got to get that right. And then you have to be like, you have to feel good about yourself. Physically, mentally, spiritually, you have to be at peace with why was I into such negativity in my life? Why was I hanging out with the wrong people? Like, being in a part in the emotional scale down there and fear and shame and guilt. Why was I allowing situations in my life that put me there, which created the negativity, which is credit cards, credit card debt, negativity, which could be, many situations like losing a job or whatever, losing a house or whatever it is. That's all created. And at the same time, my house flooded because I was in such negativity. So it's all created because of all this energy. So when you want to communicate with your spirit guides, your angels, your loved ones, that energy, which you're that energy, right? And you're asking for this manifestation, it's not like a clear channel. It's going through all these healing blocks. It's like knots, like when you're doing a massage. You got to work through the knots, and sometimes, or a chiropractic adjustment. It's not just one time. You got to keep going back, and it keeps going back to the negativity, or like a chiropractor keeps going back to the abnormality, and you have to keep going back until you finally get it on the right track. That's the same thing with energy or communication. You got to just keep massaging it, working on the health of it all, so that energy channel from you to the communication to the manifestation is clear. There's not a block. There's not something, limiting belief or something like that. So my clients that I do work on my programs with, I'm working on that. Like every week we're working on a limiting belief, going back, and I'm not really big on pulling up your past, but obviously we have to. So I will go up and we'll work to a certain extent from your past. I'm not going to concentrate on it for so long, but I have to touch on it to bring that healing to where I want it to be. And then when we go back to talk about your past, I'm talking about it in more of a healing, positive light to show how we've progressed. And I don't know if my friend Krista is on here, but we did that a lot with her. I don't know if Krista's on the chat. I can't really see. But Krista had some situations, and we pulled and we worked through them. And now, they're still there, but you got to work through the negativity, have peace with that. And that's, negativity could be anything. It could be from childhood experiences. It could be from parents, it could be from, maybe you were a child that you felt like overweight, or you were a child that you felt too skinny, or whatever it was. Those are things that we have to heal, so that communication, that manifestation, again, that direct energy is not so blocked. It's clear. And and when I was a regular counselor and I was working in marriage counseling, relationship, when I was, just using my book knowledge, I always had a hard time with this because I hated, let's talk about all the abuse, and we would keep going to it. And it seemed like I never got where I needed to be. And now that obviously I don't work for insurance companies no more, and I don't have to work for a certain organization, when I do my therapy now for my clients, it's my way. It's not like, did you check this box and check that box, which I feel like, okay, yes, let's look at it, let's address it, let's clear that knot out. And we're going to have to go back and get it again, like the chiropractic adjustment. You have to keep making sure, because if you stop going to the chiropractor, most likely you're going to go back to abnormality. So maybe you won't have to go to chiropractor every day, and that's how I like it with my clients. Maybe I'll talk to my clients 3-4 times a week, but my goal isn't to talk to my clients for the rest of their life. Some of them I love, and I would love to talk to them 3-4 times a week, but I like to weigh it down. We'll start 3-4 times a week. We'll go twice a week, once a week, once a month, if you're in my program. But that's because, I'm working on you getting strong enough, you learning, you working out all these kinks, so that your channel, your communication to your manifestation through the spirit world is clear. And the spirit world meaning yourself too, your higher self. Mind you, your best person is you. Maybe not your human mind, but your most best ally is your higher self. That higher self, your soul, you lived through many lives with yourself. This little human brain and this body that you have and walk around with now that everyone knows who you are from that, and that's another thing, side note here. When you meet someone and you're just like, oh my God, you're so familiar, you know their soul. You might never saw their face, but you're like, I know that. You know that soul, not that face. So anyways, just side note. Sometimes just side note. But anyway, that's what's going to help with the communication. So I'm noticing that this program that I'm doing, I'm using all this and I'm watching people like hashtag pass your fucking test more than me. And I always talk about this. I'm like, hashtag pass your fucking test. And like, again, I've always been the most magnificent manifester up until 5 years ago when I fell through this critical period and lived in negativity for many years. And I'm getting my manifestation power back again because I've done so much work over the last 3 years. And just recently, I had manifested something that I wanted to come into my life almost down to the detail. My friend Joanna's over there laughing. I'm sure she's listening, except for one thing that I'm not sure about. We're going to see how that works out. And if it all works out, like I could be back on the major manifestation queen that I am. So I'll keep you guys informed. Let's see how it goes. But again, I've been doing a lot of work. And if this one thing works out, like it's going to be good. And I should know soon. So, all right. So it is 9:40, and this is when I usually take the time to do a universal reading, okay? But what I really want to do real quick is everyone that's listening, I'm just going to do a quick little healing. So I just want to put a white light around everybody for protection. I'm going to put a blue light around everyone for healing. And I'm just going to give me a minute. I'm just going to send some healing out to everybody, okay? So just hold on. Okay, so we're all definitely going to get through this as, a nation. We're all going to learn from this, and we're all going to come out on the other end stronger. This is something that you could call a lesson, but it's what we're all learning as a whole. And as we've been through 9/11 here in New York, as we've been through Sandy here in New York, and we've been through many things together as a nation, although those things seem to hit New York a little more than the other areas, we still go through this together. And we will all come out of it stronger. We needed something to bring us together in many areas as a nation. We needed to come together to look at things that we weren't even looking at. Some of the things that you see now that are to your eye, there's so much more going on that you don't even understand. But just know that, just sit back, take this time, take these times to just learn, to take this isolation for yourself and know that this happened for the greater good, and us as a world and a nation is going to come out much stronger. And this was much needed for us to move ahead together. So that's the message I got for you guys. That wasn't me, so I totally channeled it. I kind of shaken when I give them that message, so, let's give a lot of love and see how it goes. So I'm going to give a universal message, and I always do this with my tarot cards. When I give a universal message, it's my Rider-Waite deck card, and I usually just pull 5 cards, and this message is just for whoever it resonates with. This isn't going to be like the world message like I just gave. This is basically specifically if you hear this message or even parts of it that resonate with you, it's because you were supposed to, okay? So let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I always channel when I do this message, which means I go into a channel, I let the guides, the council, I really don't even know who's coming in on this because this reading is for you guys, universal, so it could be one of your guides, I don't know, but here goes the message. Hold on. So you're going to get your wish, and this is a pretty funny card right here because this is saying, like, there's going to be a lot of passion coming up in your life, and it's going to be everything you wanted. It's going to be exactly amazing. So I'm laughing because this card could possibly be a message for someone I closely know. So this is going to be amazing, okay? So there's also, for someone out there listening, there's going to be an opportunity that's given to you. And actually, this opportunity has been in front of your face before. This is a job opportunity. And it was shown to you before, and you're just like, whatever. You weren't really paying attention to it. And this could be in California, it looks like. This could be an opportunity in California. Definitely, to me, it looks like California. And you get this opportunity. It's like, whatever. You're not paying attention to it. And it keeps repeating itself like 3 times. There's this opportunity. There's this opportunity. This opportunity. And finally, you will look up. Finally. Also, this card here shows me that somebody is just, and if this is somebody out there, lots of love. You're feeling like worried. You're scared. Could be the situation you're going through. You're financially like scared to death. You're like, how am I going to pull through this one? Like, there's no help. There's no support. I want you to get rid of that thinking right now, okay? Because just know that this is going to pass, and God has us, and in the end, we will all be okay for this. There will not be any residual things from this. Just get that out of your mind and just know that we are all going to be taken care of. Take the fear away, and don't worry about some financial disaster right now. It's all going to be okay, okay? And this card here is telling me somebody here is like, this looks like an older man, okay? So this is a man, probably I don't know, he's older, so probably 50s, 60s, and he's going to have he's going to help you. Either the older man himself is going to be getting money or opportunity, or this older man is going to be helping you and somebody else. It looks like you and possibly a couple, a partner. There's going to be a third party to come in to help somebody. This could be with a business or an opportunity. So a third party looks like an investor possibly to come in to help with this opportunity. And this next card, this is talking about just sitting there like doing a happy dance, like almost like do-do, look at everything I've accomplished, do-do, and you're kind of just like, holy shit, I did it, do-do. So that's your universal message. I hope it resonated with some of you guys. And now I'm going to bring Shay on so she can help me with chat, and we're going to read it and address some questions. Okay.
Hello, my love.
Hi, Shay. Thank you. And Shay lives in New Hampshire, if you guys don't know. And, so we're sending a lot of love out to New Hampshire. That's where I spent most of my life when I was younger, in New Hampshire, Massachusetts.
Yes.
So, okay. So what do we got in chat, Shay?
I'm going to start out, as usual, with some shout-outs here to the people in chat.
Okay.
And it's going to be to, as always, I just like to stress this, it's to the people who have commented in chat, not the people that like the show. Even if I recognize the picture, I don't say the name unless they give me permission.
Okay.
So, of course, we have Miss Joanna.
Mm-hmm. Like, Joanna's my best friend.
I know. Yeah. We have Rena. We have Krista. Yeah.
Rena and Krista. I love Rena and Krista. Hi, girls.
Sorry, it takes me a little bit to get through all the chat. And your chat's hopping tonight. They're all commenting, so it's going to take me a little bit. We have Rebecca in chat.
Hi, Rebecca.
We have Michelle in chat.
Michelle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. I'm still scrolling, but I know Matt's in chat. I know my mother, Mama Deb's in chat.
Hi, Matt and Mama.
Nico is again in chat.
Oh, hi, Nico. Thank you. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Yes. I hate Jennifer.
Jennifer gave me a message the other day. I'm very grateful. Thank you, Jennifer.
Another Jennifer with no last names in chat.
Okay. Hi, other Jennifer.
Thank you. And if I missed anybody, I am truly sorry. It's just pretty busy. So there's lots and lots of comments on numbers and feathers, different types. We have a couple questions, and I don't remember who asked it, and I'm sure they'll put it in here. But they, in the very beginning, they asked, what does pigeon feathers mean as a sign?
Oh, pigeon. Okay, well, pigeon feathers is totally, I know this well. So pigeon feathers is from the angel, and they're usually gray. So it would be gray or a mixture of gray and white, and it's a specific message. And especially if you get a pigeon feather again, that's gray or gray and white. And it's a mixture, but it's like a new beginning. It's like you're coming into a new fruition. Your energy's turning. It's changing. Like, we're with you. You're going to see new exciting things. It's always about a turnaround. And that's what I find, and I hear from that message from that specific feather. It's a really good message. You know, in New York, we see pigeon feathers all the time. Like, I could walk by and go, oh, a sign, a pigeon, oh, a sign, another sign, da-da-da. But, you know, it's when you see the pigeon feather in a weird place. Like, I'm walking in my flat foyer in the door, and there's a pigeon feather, like, right there, beautiful gray and white pigeon feather. Okay, that's a sign. Or somehow it got right outside my front door. But, you know, you'll know it if it's a sign. Like, you can walk by 50 pigeon feathers in New York, but you'll know that one is for you. And again, it's just a special, special sign for that.
We have people, there's lots of comments, just general, not questions, but people saying some people get pennies for messages, some people get blue jay feathers.
Oh, blue jay feathers. I never got one of them. I get the blue jay, but not the feather. That's a good one.
Yeah. Lots of comments. Lots of number comments.
Well, thanks everyone for commenting.
We do have a couple questions too, but I'm just trying to.
And you guys can always interact with each other in chat. You know,
they are tonight. They're really hopping. That's why I'm having trouble.
And like, I do have my Facebook group, guys. Also, I have it for my clients, Mind, Body, Soul, The Balance, which I've been trying to be more active in. And I created that group so my regular clients can actually interact with each other.
That's awesome. I think that is great. I'm looking for, we had one specific question.
Okay.
Thank you. She just repeated it as I was looking for it. Rena wants to know, I can never pronounce this word, Gina. I'm so sorry. It's one of your main words you always say.
Okay.
So I'm going to do my best.
All right.
And Rena would like to know, can we access our Akashic records ourselves?
Well, I don't know, because like for me, I talk to the council who accesses your Akashic records. That looks like your journey of the soul, and that's your path. So they are pretty much the keepers of your Akashic records. Your spirit guides do know about what you have put in there to guide you. They don't, and your spirit guides actually don't even have the whole book of it, because your Akashic records is all your past lives, your da-da-da. Your spirit guides are informed before they get the mission, but they do not know half of what, 1/3, 1/4 of what the council knows of your Akashic records. So, I mean, if you channel the council, you can learn about your Akashic records. However, your guides have some input in it of your soul's journey, but your whole Akashic records, I can't say you can't never do it, but I never even met another medium or psychic that does do it. If I did, I would love to know. If anyone's out there, please message me, because I would like to know about mine, because I can't do it for myself, only other people. So I wouldn't know how to say, I can't say no, you'll never do it. You know what I mean? I can't.
You're right.
I just know that I've never met someone else that has done it.
So she wants to know, we're not sure if you said it or if she missed it, but who are the keepers of these records?
The council. They're almost like the CEO. They have all your Akashic records.
Nice.
I think someone else might say it's something else. That's just how I understand it.
Yeah, that's your truth.
I always have to put a disclaimer on it, because someone might say, blah, 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 and they might be right. That's how they hear it.
But as I say on each of my shows, this is what I think and believe and feel today, but I grow every day. I learn every day. So my opinion might change tomorrow. If your opinion and your belief never changes, then you never grow. So.
Yes. So true. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Joanna says, Sorry. Joanna says, why do we tend to be more drawn to certain things? For example, angels, fairies, etc.
Okay. I mean, I've been communicating with fairies and seeing them since I was a child. I've seen them. They were all around me. So I guess that's why, because they showed themselves to me. Angels, again, Joanna was the first angel, her angel, Maria, I ever talked to when I wasn't sure if I could do it before. But I think we're more drawn to them because, we feel it as super connections. Just like, why do some people like Latin men? Why do some people like, cowboys? Or, it's just what we're drawn to. That's what we feel. That's our draw. It's just who we're drawn to. Just like, why do people like Mexican food? It's just what might be in your DNA. It might be in your soul. You might have some connection somehow with them.
Or it might just catch your attention.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. They could be pretty. Like, when I was little, I used to always carry angel dolls. That's it. I never had baby dolls because they were fat and ugly. And I guess I was never motherly. But I carried around angels.
See?
Okay.
Back to the other. Anybody that's listening, you got to realize that the questions come in after we're already talking, so sometimes things are out of order. That's not Gina's fault. It's just the way live radio works. Is 30-second lag for the listeners. So we're back on the other subject. Rita wants to know. Okay. I've tried accessing my past life before with a small group of girls. I think we might have, but how is one to be sure?
Okay, so with some of my clients, I do past lives, and sometimes spirits will let me know about past lives because it's relevant to the journey. I know all my past lives, every single one of them. I've been through all of them. I know why and what they allowed me to see that, which again, they don't allow me to see much, or I get confused. But how do you know? There's no possible way of knowing. Even me, sometimes I believe when I'm doing galleries or I'm talking to dead spirits, dead relatives, and all of a sudden I'm saying, Grandma says you have on her red ruby ring. Like, I need to have proof. That's the kind of, because I'll still think I'm a nut,
Right.
And I need that kind of proof. But when I'm accessing a past life, sometimes my clients will say to me, oh my God, I'm so drawn to that. That's amazing. And that's the best confirmation I can get. Is someone, because how am I really going to know that I'm telling them about their past life? There's no confirmation, like when I'm talking to your dead grandma and she says, I know you love blueberry muffins. I don't get that type of confirmation when I'm doing a past life. The most I'll get was, I really love those chimes. Yeah. Oh my God, that's why. But so there's no proof. You don't know. You can't. Even I can't really know. Even though the councils tell me this is that, I still could be a freaking nut making it up. You know what I mean? I don't know. The only proof I have is when someone gives me a clear sign, which is I, or when I'm talking to dead people and they give me details that only they would know. So that's that answer.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer, and it's a very honest answer. So thank you. Krista would like to know, how can we better communicate with fairies? Can we channel their energy?
Okay. For me, again, the fairies were always around me when I was little. And I used to like to play with them, and they would leave me little gifts and stuff. And then I kind of just stopped, because it was fun when I was little, I was a kid. And I was into fairies, and they probably knew I liked them. So they used to come play with me and talk to me and hang out with me and bring me little gifts. I'm telling you what, they used to bring me little gifts. I'm not even kidding you. So I would get little flowers, or I would get I like these little yellow flowers, and I would find them on my pillow all the time. They used to bring me them. They used to bring me little tiny pebbles, like stones. They would bring me little things. And this is the goddamn truth. But I stopped talking and playing with the fairies. After I got 4 or 5, I remember when I was living in Salem, New Hampshire, they were always with me. They used to come out in the trees and stuff. But, I didn't make it a big thing. I still appreciate them. They're there. But I don't have the use for them. I love them. I appreciate them. But now, now I'm on to different things, talking to the council. They don't have that draw like they did when I was a kid, the fun, the cool, you know. They don't have that for me anymore. I still appreciate them. I love them, but, you know, I don't, they're there, but I find that they are around little kids a lot. You know, they are definitely around little kids.
You think that's on purpose?
No, for me,
or the kids just don't, or is it kids don't know not to believe yet, so they see them?
Maybe. See, I was the only child, and I think, you know, my mom being killed, I think, you know, there were so many dead people around me all the time, like at night, like scary dead people, like old people, people that were in accidents. I think they came to comfort me a lot because at night, so many dead people were around me, and they would brighten things up and come and see me and be with me. And I think it was to help me as a child.
To support you, make you, comfort you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm going to read Rita's question because I'm not sure if I'm understanding it, but I think she means, do you think people can dream of their past lives?
I mean, I can't say they don't dream of their past lives. You know, I definitely had flashbacks of my past lives, and like I said, I know all my past lives, so I know what the lessons were, where I was in them, where I ended in them. I've done like extensive past life work on myself. But I think that you can ask and be shown that for sure. Yeah.
In dream form?
Yeah, but again, there's no way to really know. Like even me, like I'm 99% sure I have my past lives down because, you know, I obviously I know I communicate with the council who tells me, so I'm pretty sure I got it right, but I really can't tell. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't really know. And then when I ask for the signs to prove I was right, like it'll be shown to me, but I can't give you any possible way. Like one of my lives, for example, I was like the madam of this Western kind of house. So I asked for a sign one time, and they showed me the outfit I wore, and it was this big, fluffy, like a Spanish skirt, whatever. And I asked for a sign, was that really my past life? And I was in Brooklyn and Williamsburg, and me and my friend were at a coffee shop, and she stopped in a vintage place, and it was that exactly outfit was like right there. So I'm sure like that was my sign to say, hey, that was true, you know. And so that's when I'd asked for a sign, but I had totally forgot. And then when I seen it, I was like, oh, there you go. So I guess the way that I communicate, you can communicate and ask for a sign to see if you're on the right track.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Do you think, same topic, do you think deja vu has to come from past lives?
No, that's funny. No, deja vu is you're just there's such thing as parallel reality, and I'm doing a lot of work with parallel reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza's done a lot of work with that. Aaron Daugherty is kind of like the modern guru, bringing him to life a little bit. And because I'm working on energy and with my program, with my clients, I'm doing a lot of that. And I do slip into that other parallel reality sometimes for sure. Like, and I have to pull myself back. Deja vu is you're just slipping into another energy zone. Like when I go talk to spirit, if I'm talking to whoever I go to, I take my spirit out of my body and I go into different dimensions. So it's basically you're in another dimension. Like you're stuck in a reality. It's kind of like a residual energy of like a ghost haunting or something. You're just stuck in a different energy. That's all.
But you don't think, like some people think it's something they've already done before. You don't think that?
It could be, or it could be happening.
It's okay if you don't think that. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I believe that it could be many things. It depends. Like deja vu doesn't have one specific thing. Oh, that's because you did it before. No, that it could be multiple.
I get you.
You could be in that parallel reality at that time. You could be going back to a time you weren't in. You're not just living this one life, And the work that I've been doing is fucking amazing. Let me tell you. This life here, you're talking to me, you're hearing me because you want to. This is how it's supposed to be. I am to you who you created me to be to you. Just like I am to this show who I created myself to be. Because I created it.
Yeah, I like that.
And, I'll talk about more of this because it's a lot of work I've been doing, so I can't say I'm completely pro at this. I can tell you I'm completely confident with me talking to dead people, to counsel, and anything like that. But this energy work that I'm doing now, I can say that I've only just been exploring it for about a year, working on my program and stuff. So I have some more work to do, and I'm doing it, and I'll have more to speak on that. But what I do know now is this energy is powerful shit.
I can't wait.
And we will get into that.
Can't wait. Sidetrack a little, just to let you know, I am in the process of booking. The date is not set yet, but I will be having a hypnotherapist, past life regressionist on my show, probably in April, and I think it's going to be. I think it'll be a fascinating show.
Yeah, for sure. Please remind me of that.
Oh, I will, because I think you'll like it. It's right up your alley.
Yeah.
So, all right, back to your show, Krista.
All right.
I just wanted to tell you because it fits in with this category, and I think it will be a really good show. So.
And everybody will probably want to listen to that, too.
I think so. I hope so. Krista says, can we communicate with negative spirits to leave us alone? Or to leave a family member alone? I think so.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes.
You want to give advice? Do you want to give advice on how?
I get bullied by negative spirits. I tell them off. No one bothers. Yeah, it's fun. They're just like people. We got negative people, tricksters. We got all kinds of spirits over there. Yeah. And they hear us. Yeah. They might not want to listen to us, but they hear us and we can communicate with them. Yeah. Yes.
I think you just, my 2 cents, you have to be very secure with your words, and you have to be very direct, and you have to say, you are not allowed to do this or that. You need to leave this alone. You have to be very direct, and you have to be stern, and you have to really mean it.
Yes, and that's, I have to say, that probably works a good high percentage of time.
Yeah, it doesn't always, but that's your best starting point.
Yeah, it's just like people. It might work, it might work.
Yeah.
But it might. Mm-hmm.
See, she says, so just tell them to F off. Well, just like just like people that are alive, that could go either way. You could irritate them more, or you could just say, listen, this is my space, that's your space, back off. You're not allowed to touch me. You're not allowed to do this. As a paranormal investigator, that's my view.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I run against so many peers. They're just like people. They're just like people. Yeah,
and every person relates differently to different ways of communication. So if one thing doesn't work, you just got to but just be firm with whatever you do.
Yeah.
All right, Rebecca wants to know. Every time my husband, who had died, shows up in my dreams, he is a zombie. Is it because my subconscious knows he isn't alive, or because he loved zombie shows? I don't know, but he is always a zombie.
Well, Rebecca, I can tell you, when I had the Dr. Gina call-in show, I'd probably be able to channel and answer this, but I don't have voice connection, so I'm not, and that's definitely a message that needs more than, I think that needs a more direct answer, so I can't give it.
Rebecca's a friend of mine. I can put her in contact with you.
Okay.
She's a new co-host at my new show.
Oh,
I'm the co-host of her new show. However you want to look at it. So.
All right. Well, hello, yes, Rebecca. I don't want to try to even answer that, because it's an answer that obviously if I click to go in there, your husband might come in and it'll take a long time. Put it that way.
No. But I'll tell her how to find you.
Okay.
So, one more question here. Michelle wants to know, Mish, depending on how you look at it. Whenever I dream of my dead grandmother, she never saw a... Wait a minute. Hold on. Start over. Whenever I dream of my dead grandmother, she never says a word. We just hug. If that happens with most, do the dead relatives not speak in their dreams?
Yeah, you know what, Michelle? That happens a lot. Most of them do not speak in the dreams. That is so true. And you know why they don't speak? Because most people can't hear them speak. So they could be, they just don't even bother, because that's a whole nother dimension. You can't get through it. Even myself, in most dreams, they don't talk to me, because it's an energy thing. It's a dimension. Actually, when I talk to dead people, for me, I have to take my spirit out, and it's different. So when I go to the astral plane, like, I'll have communication, but I usually set that up. But if it's just a dream for me, and I'm in a state of just taking my higher self out, usually my grandma will pull my hair or something. There won't be words. So
right.
I found that to be.
All right. I think we're all caught up. I'm just double checking. It's already past 10 o'clock.
All right. I just want to say hello to Michelle's grandma, Babushka. One time I was doing a reading for her. I'm like, what is Babushka? You know, and I was like, she's talking about Babushka, and here it means grandma, and I think she's Russian. I'm pretty sure it's Russian. And I was like, oh, really? And we just started laughing. So yes. Grandma Babushka, hello.
Hello, Grandma Babushka. I hope I said that right. Let's see.
Okay, so
I think that's it. Yeah.
Right. So I want, again, to thank everyone. This time is very crazy for sharing this moment with me. I really appreciate it. Please feel free to inbox me on Facebook if this is a time. I know it's very difficult. Inbox me, and I will try to do some lives. Again, human Gina, regular Gina over here is just trying to get my human through this as well. But I hope to do some more stuff and be here for you guys. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Matt and Shay, for hosting this and giving me this platform to bring whatever it is I bring. So thank you all, and much love.
Good night, everybody.